So today, in the series of what it's like to be a Beijing mama, today let's talk about my first trimester. That's exactly when I found out I was pregnant. It's definitely an exciting time. And during the beginning, I found out around when I was in my week 5, and I didn't react that badly then. I was just a bit tired, exhausted. But then as time goes on, my first trimester overall was a little bit brutal because I couldn't really eat and I couldn't drink any of the water, especially the tap water. It tasted way too funky. Even if I do filter or boil it or whatnot. And in the beginning, the Chinese typically tells you what not to do, and that list, all of the things that you can do, is way longer. And part of it is don't do this, don't do that, and because tea is questionable, so I didn't even drink any, and I couldn't drink any water, so I was very dehydrated. The temperature wasn't right. They shut off this building that we lived in, shut off the AC very, very early on, and it was just internal air blowing inside. So I think one thing pile up on the next with the air pollution.
And moreover, I had quite an awful skin irritation around my mouth area, which I've never had before. There was this one time where I had it, but it was because I got a pimple, I scratched it. But this time it was severe on both sides, so I couldn't even look in the mirror. I was coughing constantly due to what happened to me in Beijing. And then as I got sick while I was in Hong Kong, avoiding the Beijing air, I also got sick again. And looking at the tissue here, basically this is what happens throughout the night, and it's every day. Since Beijing was not treating me so gratefully, I decided to go back to Hong Kong to give it a try. Unfortunately, the timing was bad. It was summer, it was really hot, and any sort of wind that blows directly into my direction, I get really sick. So what ended up happening was that even the AC, I had to cover it so that at night it's not blowing directly on my head, which is causing me to throw up even more. And the food that I was having, because it's different families, it's just not something I'm used to having, and maybe the oil level or whatnot, as you are seeing right now. So it was definitely a unique experience during the time where I was kind of out of it.
And with the uncertainty, it was really brutal. I couldn't eat. I could only see what's in front of me, the shape of the bowl that's in front of me, basically. And it was a really brutal time. We actually I contemplated leaving right away, but my husband, being a daddy that he is, wanted to be with the baby, watch the baby grow, and at least be there. So we kind of put that option aside. But then, looking back, it was very, very hard. I didn't even know how I could survive the next minute. Sort of difficulty. Because not only I used to think that being pregnant, sometimes I question, morning sickness, what is it really like? Is it really that bad? But when it's happening to you, and when it's not just about not being able to eat or puking, it's about your whole body energy level draining to nothing, and your hormone levels are going nuts. It's really something. Let's just put it that way. And I was overly sensitive to everything. Everything was a trigger. The smell, and as I mentioned in another video about Beijing, sense of smell sometimes really can be a curse in Beijing. Summer, there's the smell of sweat, of people, of dirty towel, dirty clothes, of the air pollution smell. air pollution actually is all year round, but winter is the worst. There's no wind. Every day you look out the window, you can't see. Typically, like right now, I can see 20, 30 buildings easily, right? Like the sight-wise. But on a bad day, you can't even see the first building that's right across from you. So it's always gray. It's just a really, really depressing environment, especially during your really sensitive period. So that was something that happened to me during my first trimester. And as soon as I hopped on an airplane, landed anywhere else but here, at least my vomiting stopped, and then slowly regained a little bit of my energy level. However, not being at home during that time, and I'm not a completely low maintenance type of mama either, so having to stay in different places all of the time, that was also very draining on me. And my husband couldn't travel with me, so I had to travel all alone. Like, that was the sense of isolation and loneliness and not knowing what's up ahead was something. And then when you are home, you are at the worst place you can be in your mind. As soon as I step in here, like this unit here, because this is our second place in Beijing, once we step in, that smell, that color, that mood, everything just kind of really triggers me. It was just so depressing that I only found one place that comforted me. It's within one of the malls next door, in their VIP lounge, which they allow people to sit there for hours on end. They had a very good air filtration system, but even within the entire mall, there's only this one area. And when I go there, I have to sit there from, let's say I go there from 1, I have to sit until 6 or 7 because I just don't want to go anywhere else. That's the only place where I'm not vomiting out of my mind in Beijing. And then I go eat dinner, and then once we're done, my husband will be like, "Oh, you wanna go somewhere? You know, go home, rest." I'll be like, "No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go vomiting again. Can we just sit here a bit longer?" So I've been out like 1 p.m. already, kind of very tired. Until 6, I'll bring things to do. I'll start writing, but that drainage of energy is really, really, really hard on me. So thinking back, traveling from Beijing, then to another part of China, then to Hong Kong, although it did help, but during this time when you kind of needed that support, when you don't really want to be alone all the time for several months on end, it requires a bit of strength. So I wish there's more to tell you about my first trimester, but the gist of it was that I had to suffer it a little bit, but I'm glad that the baby was okay. We were doing checkup. I was terrified, not knowing and hearing different types of stories, obviously, but things did work out, so that was a blessing. And as soon as second trimester hit, I slowly then regained my energy, and here I am now. So anyways, this concludes my video for today. If you have any questions or if you're moving to Beijing, let me know. If there's anything I can give some pointers to or give you some tips on, I would definitely love to. Leave me a comment, and until next time.